Breeze Nation, what is good? Question on the table today. Would Ryan Poles trading and moving on from Justin Fields destroy the locker room that we have built? Let's talk about it, starting now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. No, for real, though. Like, look at this. Look at this. Like, 49% of y'all not even subscribed. 49%. Like, let's get on. Like, y'all watching the content. Y'all enjoy the content. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stop playing with your boy, man. Let's get into it. Big question here, right? Chicago Bears have a big decision to make, right? No matter what side of the quarterback argument you sit on, keep Justin, move on from Justin, bring in Caleb Williams, bring in Drake May, draft a whole new, fire everybody. No matter what side of the conversation you sit on, you have to ask now, to me, when you're talking about the quarterback position, you're talking about a guy who has to be a leader of this team. And it feels like Justin Fields' teammates have had enough of people picking at their leader. Why are we saying that? We've got Chicago Bears coming out left and right talking about Justin Fields and talking about how they can't believe that people think that he's not the leader of this team, that he's not the quarterback of the future for the Chicago Bears. And to me, right, I think it is slowly but surely putting to rest a lot of the doubts that I may have had on, is Justin Fields going to be back? Because I think you seriously have to ask yourself the question, if you're Ryan Poles, would this destroy the locker room if I move on from this quarterback? Would this destroy what we're building towards if I move on from this quarterback? And I think the reason that you have to talk about that and have to look at that so seriously is because it's not just, right, like, it's different if, like, it's the quarterbacks, wide receivers that are standing up for him. Yeah, he, you know, like, that's my guy, right? Like, we had that with B. Marsh, right? Like, I remember B. Marsh talking about, you know, wanted to hype up Jimmy Clausen. Yeah, I mean, because that was his quarterback at the time because Jay Cutler was down. You like, that would be a different scenario if it was just wide receivers going, I don't get it. We love Justin Fields. Y'all shouldn't want him. But literally, so many people in that locker room have talked about Justin Fields as a leader, how he's been through this entire process, how he stood up, how he's setting the standard, how he's trying to continue to push his teammates to elevate themselves and be better. Tyler Scott yesterday was on the Sick With It podcast by Adam Rank, and basically said that I love Justin Fields. I wouldn't be against playing with him for the rest of my career. I honestly love this dude. We heard Jalen Johnson come out the other day and talk about, you know, the conversation around Justin Fields has gotten a little bit out of hand. And on top of all of it, right, like, Justin Fields is actually improving. He's actually doing what people are saying. And there's a lot of, like, moving of the goalposts and different things, right? Like, I think that you have to look at offensively, defensively, special teams, it is what it is, right? But, like, you've got players at every part of this team saying that we want to play with Justin Fields. We want Justin Fields to be here for the foreseeable future. I don't think that is a surprise. I don't think that this isn't calculated. I don't think, because now DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, right, I get it a little bit more because a Cleveland reporter came up and asked them the question on it. But we're getting guys literally coming out at every turn and saying, you know, I don't understand where y'all are creating this conversation. Y'all try to bring that into the locker room. That's not how we feel about Justin in the locker room. So I think that there's a serious scenario where Ryan Poles has to really take into account, listen, if I make this move, this could really hurt the future of this team. This could really hurt the locker room of this team. Does that mean that Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback? No, but it might just be the guy that you need leading you in the long run, because there are guys that we've had here. I mean, look at Jay Cutler, right? Jay Cutler, immense talent, all the talent in the world, amazing at The arm talent, could hit a 50-yard deep shot on the hands. I mean, could throw a laser. Like he was all the talent you needed. But the one knock that we always had on Justin Fields was this guy was a horrible leader. Like after a while, right? It was, he wasn't even trying. It was just like he was walking in the building and, you followed other guys on the team. You followed what Brian said. You followed what Briggs said. You followed what Crute said, right? Like those were the guys that you kind of paid more attention to over Jay Cutler, and it never felt like he was really one of the leaders of the team. So when Jay got up out of there, it was just kind of like, well, the team's over anyway. We might as well move on from Jay, right? Like there was never that next iteration that Jay was able to come up under and be the next guy for. And I think he was done with the Bears anyway. But, right, having a leadership skill, having a quality to be able to go out there and actually galvanize your team to continue fighting, not continue stopping, right? Like that is something that it is a quality in the positive direction. Do I have question marks on some of the guys coming out being that same level of leader? For me, I do, right? I look at Caleb Williams and not to say that he's a bad leader, but I think that the adults in the room haven't taught him the right lessons, right? And I talked about this with Shay Norling on ESPN 1000, right? He had an issue with Caleb not speaking after. He's not speaking after he's losing these games. He's not, right? Like all of these issues. And for me, it was like, well, the adults in the room haven't taught him that lesson. You don't get to go hide in the locker room when you're upset and you have a bad game and your feelings are hurt in the NFL. You got to get your butt out there, stand at that podium and take those shots like a man. Pause. That's crazy. But you have to go out there and deal with the media right after you end up getting out of the game. Let's go. Hey, get out there. You have to. So I think that the adults in the room haven't taught him that lesson. I don't hold that against him. Doesn't mean he can't get there. Doesn't mean he can't become a great leader. But I have somebody who it seems like this team already feels is a great leader. And to me, that's something that I look at from Justin Fields and I say, all right, well, if we end up trading away Justin, is everybody just going to be okay with that, right? Because it sure seems like there would be a lot of ruffled feathers in that locker room if you do move on. Now, the real question here, and we will talk about this as well because we got to break this down on the flip side of it all, right? If you don't move on from Justin, how are we going to continue to improve? Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you Justin Fields doesn't have flaws, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there aren't things about Justin Fields' game that don't need to improve. Do we have the right coaching staff in place to improve that? We'll talk about all that and more on this episode as well. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. Let me know down below. Do you feel that trading away Justin Fields could actually hurt this locker room in the long run? I'll be down to talk with you guys as well. Now, it felt to me, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast brought to you by ESPN 1000. But it felt to me that when I watched when I watched Matt Eberfleus' press conference yesterday, that some shots may have been taken. Some warning shots may have been fired in the direction of one Luke Getsy. Because when I watched when I watched the press conference and they asked him, do you think that Luke Getsy is doing a good job? And Matt Eberfleus said, well, I love Luke. I love the man. I love the I love the leadership qualities. I love the skill. And we got to assess everything. That's a simple question. Do you think that your offensive coordinator has done a good job? And it's not like we haven't seen the Chicago Bears put up offense, right? Like, I feel like we've seen enough of an offense where you can say, like, to me, you could have said he had a bad game, but I think overall he's done a pretty good job this season offensively. I mean, like, listen, here's our scores, right? Early on in the season, first 4 games, bad, but no, bad. No, I couldn't even flip it, right? 38-20, 27-17, 41-10. That's first 3 games. Bears are horrible. Look like dog water. Week 4, started to look good. And then I think some coaching decisions, right back on the coach, made you look bad. But 28-31. Then you beat the Commanders 40-20. You lost to the Vikings 19-13. Justin Fields gets hurt, no starting center, blah, blah, blah. Beat the Raiders 30-12 with a backup quarterback. Chargers, you lose that one 30-13. Saints, you lose that one 24-17. A few weeks of bad offense here, 16-13. You beat the Lions 31-26, right? I'm sorry, you lose to the Lions 31-26, which put up 26 in that game. Almost had that one. Don't like the calls at the end of the game, blah, blah, blah. Lose to the Vikings, bad offense. Then you beat the Lions 28-13, lose to the Browns this week 20-17. Is it great? Heck no. Are there too many low-scoring games? 100% yes. But you couldn't say, I feel like he's building towards something. You couldn't say, I think that he's been pretty good this year. There's still room for improvement. Like, there was like a, Matt Eberfleus said, pushing these, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like that to me felt like, listen, we're going to evaluate everything. That's including me, but also what he's doing over there with that offense is what he's doing over there with that offense. Don't put that on me. I'm covering the defense. I got the defense under my control. This defense is looking better. Heck, if we could score some points, maybe we're able to get some offense going. Now, I'm not going to let Flus completely off of the hook with all of this, right? Because I do think that there's also something interesting that he said in his press conference as well. But that felt, to me, that felt like a little bit of like a lot of times, a lie of omission is just as bad as the lie, right? Like, to me, that was a lie of omission. That was I don't want to say a lie, right? He's not lying. Like, he probably does like him. He does. But the things that he didn't say, to me, scream volumes for the Chicago Bears coaching staff. And I think that with that being said, I'm not going to let Flus completely off of the hook, because I do believe that Matt Eberfleus's mindset does permeate the offensive room. I say that to say, Matt Eberfleus also came out and said basically that, you know, he has input on the offense. Now, it's not that he's calling the offense, but he has protection scheme. We're going forward on fourth down here. We're doing, right, like he has final say on everything with the team as well. And I talked with Courtney Cronin about this yesterday, and the conversation was basically, you know, like, Flus has input. He chooses when he wants to have input. He's not calling the plays, but yes, he's just flipping a switch. He's talking to Luke, flipping a switch. He's talking to the defense, all of that, right? To me, that tells me that you're making calls on, in the crunch time of these games, on how you want the game plan to be carried out. And I think that when you look at many of these weeks where inexplicably, right? Inexplicably, did I say that? I'm struggling with words right now. Where inexplicably the offense basically comes out and goes, yeah, we're done trying to throw the football. We're done trying to be aggressive. We're done with all of that. That it coincides with the defensive side of the ball that we've seen multiple times this year say, yep, we're done. Take your foot off the gas. Yep, we're out. Yep, we won. We won, baby. Up 2 scores, 2+ turnovers. Nobody loses these games. Hold on, wait a minute. What happened? Why are we down? How do we start losing? All right, back again. Let's do it again, right? We've seen them do that so many times this season that I just can't believe that Flus isn't going, hey, let's play it safe here, boys. Let's just get out of here with the win. Let's play it safe here. Because to me, that feels like the team's mindset. That feels like the team's go-to. And I think that a lot more times than not, you see the aggressive team go out there and get the win. So for me, I'm looking at Matt Eberfleus, and I can't let you off the hook either, right? I get it. You're trying to distance yourself from Luke Getsy. You're trying to say, nope, that's Luke over there. Y'all know Luke be tripping. No. You be tripping too. You be right there with him, bro. That's your guy. Yeah, I mean, you love the man. That's what you said. That's your man. Yeah, I mean, so it's like, come on, like let's not sit here and try and just. It's such a nuanced conversation, because think about, and Mark Silverman said this from Wild and Sylvie, and it was such a great bar. if Matt Eberfleus' defense, that really is the only reason that we're putting him in high praise. It's the only reason we're putting him up there. We love the defense that he's building. If his defense was doing this under Alan Williams, 3 games with a 2+ takeaway margin and 10+ or 2-score lead, and you lost 3 of them, we will be looking to fire Alan Williams. So why are we so gung-ho on Flus has to stay? Because to me, the mindset of the coaching staff, now I'm not saying he may not have saved his job, right? Listen, I think Ryan Poles likes him. I think he believes he's building something. I'm not saying he hasn't saved his job. But what I am saying is I look at Matt Eberfleus and I'm like, okay, well, you're the head of this defense. Yes, the defense is playing better. It looks night and day better than what we saw in the beginning of the season. You are now second in takeaways. Like, things are actually moving in the right direction, and there are still issues on this defense that need to be addressed, right? There's still positions that are major, but you don't have the linchpin of this defense, which is your 3 technique. There's still so much you have to find. But if it was Alan Williams that did this, we would probably have a new defensive coordinator next year. If it was Alan Williams that was making these mistakes, we would probably have a new defensive coordinator next year. So I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball, and I'm seeing that same issues, same mindset, and that's a problem for me when I'm looking at my head coach for the next season. Because, listen, a lot of things can change. Players can get better. All of this can happen. Boom, we're doing this. But that doesn't mean that how you approach the game is going to drastically change. And I don't believe that Matt Eberfleus is all of a sudden going to become a more aggressive head coach, going to become a more I mean, maybe with a 3rd year under his belt, right? He's more consistent. Maybe there's some things he learns from this season, takes in the next season, files that away. I can't say he didn't do that more in the Lions game, right? But he didn't do it in the Browns game. Right? I can't say that the second Lions game, I should say, right? Like, I'm not going to say that he's not learning from some of his mistakes and even seeing him be more accountable, which is hilarious because the whole accountability thing comes at a time like right after everybody basically called him out when Dan Campbell came out and was like, hey, why don't you, that's on me. That's my bad. That's my issue. But I look at, yes, is there growth that can be had? 100%. But are we sitting here waiting for that growth to be had when even with growth, his mindset is going to be a more passive mindset? Why? Because if I play the protect the ball game, I can put my defense back on the field. My defense should be able to get me up out of here. That's a fine mindset to have when you have the finished pieces on defense. We haven't had that all season. We've had that for the last 4 weeks. 5 weeks, whatever it is. Like, that's something that has taken time to get here. And yeah, maybe it's going to get here, but like, it shows a lack of awareness of the team that you have, in my opinion. And so I've got questions all the way around. Offensively, I see the separation happening, but we'll see what ends up happening at the end of this season. These last 3 games are big, man. These last 3 games are big. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down and talk with you as well. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I told y'all, man, 49% of y'all not subscribed. Y'all on games with your boy. Y'all sitting here watching the content, enjoying the content, rocking with me on the video, but you're not hitting the like button and you're not hitting the subscribe button. Stop playing with me, man. Hey, man, appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always, though, in any fashion. It's your boy Pat, the Desire, to back at it again. To continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. Peace.